For as long as I can remember... Oh, shoot. I'm wearing the same shirt as the last video. We're just gonna roll with it. Like I was saying. For as long as I can remember, I've been a fan of Batman. I mean, I remember, this is some personal Speed Turtle stories. One time I went to the restaurant Chili's, and I was wearing a Batman shirt. I was about 3 or 4, and the guy asked me, "Hey, nice Batman shirt. What's your name?" Just making, just being friendly, trying to get that tip. No, I'm just kidding. He's just being friendly. And I said, "I'm Batman." And then he asked, "No, but what's your real name?" And I said, "Bruce Wayne." Obviously, my name is not Bruce Wayne. That's how much of a Batman fan I was. I've always been a big fan of Spider-Man more than any of them. Spider-Man and Wolverine are my 2 favorite heroes, but Batman is probably, my favorite DC media. Now that I'm older, I like to get into the comics to see where all these movies that I watched came from. And when I searched Batman comics, one that kept popping up was Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns. Now this book is basically what brought Batman into being that dark, edgy type superhero. And he's a bit older. He's about 50. He's like mid-50s in this book. And, there's a new Robin. And, yeah, it's very different. And so, I will be doing what I did at the time of recording last week and reading The Dark Knight Returns in 1 week. So today is Tuesday, July 1st, and I will be finishing this entire trade paperback. Hi, I'm Speed Turtles, and if you're new here, if you mind dropping a subscribe, I would really appreciate it. I'm trying to get to 600 subscribers by the end of the summer. Thank you so much for watching, and let's get into it. Well, I can officially say that I have finished The Dark Knight Returns. Now, it has not been a week yet. It's actually been a few days. It's July 4th, so happy 4th of July to everyone that watches in America. And for me personally, I also live in America, but what I was saying was I celebrated my 4th of July with my family on July 3rd. I don't know why, that's just when they were having fireworks, and so we went over there. I had a great time, but really, this time, 4th of July, the actual day, I just decided to chill at home today, and so I finally just locked in and got the book done. So, I want to start off by saying something a little controversial. And that is, I didn't have the best time reading The Dark Knight Returns. Now, I get that this is some people's favorite book from Batman, but for me personally, I just didn't have that good of a time reading it. Let me get into the first reason why it was hard for me to read. It was the art style. This book was penciled by Frank Miller and colored by Lynn Varley. Now, me personally, I'm used to, traditional art when it comes to comics. So, like your Steve Ditko's, or I even like Todd McFarlane. But just the watercolor, and if I'm wrong on this, please comment down below. But I'm pretty sure that Lynn Varley used watercolor to color in some of the characters, and just basically every piece of color in this book was done by watercolor, and it was just kind of hard for me to truly enjoy the art, especially as someone who likes to draw. Just looking at that coloring, I don't know, I just didn't really like it. Not saying that the art is entirely bad. No, it's just not for me. And I'll pop a picture of it right there. That, I know a lot of people probably might think it's weird when you look at it at first glance, but I really like that piece right there, just because of how powerful Batman's stance is and how, determined he looks. Number 2, and this is a personal issue of mine that probably not a lot of people are going to care about. But I'm a Christian, and in the Bible, it clearly says that cussing is wrong. And I know that comics and movies are gonna cuss, but you just gotta, for me personally, I just ignore that sort of stuff. But it was so much in this book that it almost seemed corny, oh, you're just trying to act tough by cussing, you know what I mean? I mean, oftentimes I was like, whoa, why would they even say that, that's a lot. and I personally just didn't like that very much. I just thought it was a little too much language there on that part. And I get they're trying to make the story gritty. They're trying to make the story dark so that you can say, like, oh, these are trying to be real people in a horrible situation that's going on during this Dark Knight Returns book, and so they can use that sort of language. But me personally, I don't know, I just don't really like that. Now I'm going to talk about some more positive things. Speaking of my shirt, the way that they did Superman's character was beautiful. I loved the way he was written. He was a little bit older, because, him and Batman are getting older. Batman is 55, and, he looks younger, and that's probably because of his Kryptonian lineage. But I must say that, like, the way that he was just like, Bruce, we're too old for this. Please step down. Now, he was kind of a villain in this book type thing, but because he was trying to stop Batman, but he had a pretty valid point. But, in the end, the heroes have to step in because the police can't take care of it all. Let's get into the actual plot of the book. The book is all about how Bruce Wayne, aka Batman, is 55 years old and retired from being Batman. Matter of fact, he's been retired for 10 years, and the city of Gotham has gotten worse. So, one night, Bruce is watching TV, and the same movie that his parents took him to go see when they died, like when they got shot, was on TV, which triggered something in his brain to go back to being Batman and saving the world from this dangerous gang called the Mutants. Is that some sort of Marvel, jab, saying that the villains are called mutants, like mutants from X-Men? This was written in 86, and the X-Men comics from 1986 were pretty popular. I don't know. That's for you to decide. Anyways, this mutant gang is pretty crazy. I mean, they have, these visors, and it almost looks like Cyclops from the X-Men, so I'm wondering if it really was a jab. But, one thing that I really enjoyed was the fight between the mutant leader and Batman. It all starts with the mutant leader hearing a voice because he's insane, and to crawl through the vents from his jail cell because they ended up putting him in jail, but, crawling through the, he's a big guy, so I was kind of confused how he did it, but anyways, he crawled through the vent, and he heard a voice, but actually it wasn't in his head, it was Batman. Once he crawled out into the vent, it led into a sewer, which Batman was standing right there with every member of the mutants watching them. It talks about a lot how Batman is getting slower and, and older, which is, the natural order of life. And so, it's kind of harder for him to fight crime. Another part that happens is the Joker. He is in this book, and dude, he is a menace, bro. He is kind of crazy. This is one of the craziest Jokers I think I've ever seen. And I know the story of the Batman Who Laughs, so this Joker is crazy. Basically, he is in an insane asylum. He's in Arkham. I don't know if it's Arkham Asylum, but anyways, he is, and he's in some sort of asylum. And he acts like he's been fine, and he's gonna stop, killing people. And then once they reveal him, because this one doctor guy, he's like a therapist guy, is a firm Batman hater, and so once he goes on the news to show how he can change Batman villains without Batman. But then Joker turns out and just, goes crazy. Another fight that I really liked with the character of Superman is the final fight. Now, me personally, I don't know if this is officially confirmed, and I have to reveal something to you. I've never even seen the movie Batman vs. Superman, but I remember when it was coming out, and I remember the trailers, and I've seen clips and stuff. And the costume that Batman uses at the end of this book to fight Superman, a lot like the costume that he used in that movie to fight Superman, which that's probably where they got it from, was this book right here, because, like I said previously, this book changed Batman, and is a pretty popular Batman book in general. You guys know that I like my trade paperbacks, and I love showing you the bonus features that come with this, and honestly, the one I have is the 30th anniversary edition, and honestly, I love some of this art. If you can take a look, I'll probably just pop it up on screen, but this is some sort of 10th anniversary thing, and this is the hardcover edition, and I've seen that one in real life before. Also, another thing that I liked is the script. This says it was the original Dark Knight proposal on February 29th, 1984 from Frank Miller. This is his sort of script that he did. And then we have the Pencils Gallery from Frank Miller, and wow, I really like this. It's got the art of Robin hugging Batman after a job well done. And, you know, here they are. One thing that I was a little confused about personally is the character of Carrie Kelly. This is the Robin in this universe, and she becomes Robin, and she just sneaks out every night to become Robin. I was a little confused on where, because it never shows her parents' face, but it shows her parents talking. And, like, they even have this one panel where her parents are talking over the dinner table, and they're, like, joking, like, hey, didn't we have a kid? Like, where is she? And why don't they go and find her is my question. The other thing I don't understand about her character is how come Batman is just... She just kind of shows up and starts fighting crime with Batman, and I was kind of confused about that. How did Batman not say, like, hey, go home. I don't know you. You're just a 13-year-old girl. Like, go home. Be safe. He just kind of rolls with it, and she becomes the Robin. I don't know. I was just kind of confused about that, personally. And if anyone has an explanation in the comments, please comment down below. But besides that, she wasn't too annoying. I guess her main weapon is the slingshot, and she's good at it because she shoots this one villain off of a roller coaster. Yeah, they're fighting on the roller coaster, and it reminds me a lot of the Lego Batman 2 theme park from, you know, the game. And I bet that's where they got that idea from, was this comic. I want to end this video with a positive thing, and so my last thing is something that I really enjoyed about this book, and that is the ending. So, the big fight against Superman, Batman ends up, you know, taking some pill that's going to make his heart stop. I guess for a reason, so that the media and everything will calm down with all the Batman stuff. Just end it. But, turns out that at his funeral, Batman faked his death and is training up the mutants. They are good now. They joined Batman, and they are now fighting for Batman and for the greater good of Gotham. So guys, that's gonna wrap it up on my Dark Knight Returns video. If I had to give it a rating out of 10, I would give it a solid 6. I didn't like it as much as a lot of people liked it, but there was still a lot to like. So that's gonna wrap it up for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys could like and subscribe, I really appreciate it. I'm trying to reach 600 subscribers by the end of this summer. Thank you again for watching. Just remember, Jesus loves you, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye.